Hello, everyone, and happy Halloween. Welcome to another episode of Laker Connections, your home for all things Laker sports. I'm Where's Waldo?
And I'm Cowboy Brian, and this here is my horse Bandit.
Bandit, he will be here throughout the show. We're very excited
It's an honor to have him on the desk.
Yeah, it really is. It's rare that we get him, in studio,
Yeah.
and he was able to pull through for us today.
Yeah, he came in clutch.
As always, it's now time to start the show with This Week in Laker Sports. Brian and I will go through previous Laker matchups that happened earlier in the week. Brian, take it away.
This past weekend, the Oswego State men's soccer team traveled to Western New York to close out the regular season with matchups against Fredonia and Buffalo State. The Lakers fell in both matchups, losing 1-0 in overtime against Fredonia and 2-0 against Buffalo State, making it 3 games in a row without a goal. So, Aaron, what's been the problem with the Lakers' offense in their last 3 outings?
Well, the Plattsburgh game was kind of just an oddity. I mean, they took 17 shots, which is a lot for, a D3 soccer game. But, they outshot Plattsburgh 17-6, and then in the other 2 games, they were outshot, which is not a recipe for success when it comes to winning soccer games. But also, those 2 defenses, besides Buffalo State, which is letting in less than a goal per game, the Fredonia and Plattsburgh teams, they are 2 of the bottom defenses in the conference, and that doesn't really make a lot of sense. So to me, it just seems like they're not finishing in the box. And when you're not finishing in the box, that's obviously not a way you can win. They have more corners than the other teams. I mean, you look at the stats right here. They have more corners than the other teams too, which is interesting. I just honestly think it's a matter of them not finishing. And you look at the games right there, they're taking over all those statistical categories.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're creating their opportunities, 10 corners in the Buffalo State game. But, they only created 3 shots for themselves in the second half of the Fredonia game. That's just not going to get it done. And I completely agree with you. But they need to finish better. They've been doing a better job recently controlling the game in the midfield. It's something that they struggled with early on in the season, but they've gotten better with it. Now it's just got to be the finishing aspect of it. You're getting your chances. Now you just got to put the ball in the back of the net. You got Caleb Asamoah and Steven Rojas up top leading the charge. They've been great all season. You just got to put the ball in the back of the net if you're Oswego. That's how you win games. You can't win if you can't score, and you can't score if you don't create your opportunities. So they got to get a little better up top.
Finishing in the box going to be important down the stretch for SUNYAC playoffs. But now switching to volleyball, as this week the Lakers took on 2 top conference rivals in Brockport and Geneseo, looking to move up in the SUNYAC standings. The Lakers took a loss in both these games, losing to Brockport 3-2 and Geneseo 3-1. The Lakers fell all the way down to the 6th seed in the playoffs and finished with a conference record of 5-4. So Brian, why weren't the volleyball team able to come out with 2 victories at home this weekend?
Well, look, they were close. They were really close, especially in that Brockport game. And, at the end of the day, you took Brockport to 5 sets. You had 3 match points before, letting it up in the 5th set. So at the end of the day, I just think they're just not coming up with these clutch shots. They took Geneseo. They scored 22 points in the first 2 sets, which they lost to Geneseo, and that's the top team in the conference right now. So you're playing with these teams. You're just not winning the clutch points, which is really where they need to get a little bit better, honestly. And, that's where you look to your big seniors. You look for the experience. Lauren Fye, she's going to have to step up for this Oswego State team if they're going to make a push in the playoffs. And that's really just where it is. They're in the position to win. Now they just got to do it.
Yeah, I feel like these are 2 games that the Lakers kind of just gave away a little bit. They won the first set in the Brockport game, and that usually bodes well for them. They've only lost 2 or 3 games when they win the first set. And unfortunately for them, they just kind of fell down those last 2 sets. They won the 4th set, and then in the 5th set, they lost 17-15, and that's just kind of the way the ball bounces sometimes. And obviously, confidence wasn't high going into this weekend. They had won 6 straight, and they lost that to Wells, an out-of-conference team, 3-2 early in the week. And in the Geneseo game, Geneseo's a really good volleyball team, 9-0 in the conference. They won, they got the 1st seed for the SUNYAC playoffs. They just didn't control the ebb and flow of the game. And in the end, that's how the Knights are going to win volleyball games.
Yeah, they're going to have to pick it up if they're going to make a push in the SUNYAC playoff. Now let's head to the wheelhouse to see how the Oswego State women's hockey team fared against William Smith College last Saturday. Oswego State women's hockey finishing exhibition play against William Smith, trying to bounce back after their loss in the first exhibition. We'll start it in the first. Not going to get off to a good start for the Lakers. Mia LaPlante going to poke one in right there. Couldn't clear the crease if you're Oswego. William Smith up 1-0. Now Oswego going to get it right back. Defensive miscue for William Smith, and Aaron Stewart, the senior, lights the lamp for the Lakers for the first time this season. We're moving to this 3rd period. It was all Lakers from here. Now it's going to be Megan Teachout thinks she's going to pass. No, snipes it home, puts the Lakers up 2-1, and she wasn't done yet. Later in the period, Oswego working in the D zone, and it's going to be Teach Out yet again, putting it home, giving the Lakers that extra insurance that they needed, up 3-1, and now they're just going to put the icing on the cake. About 15 seconds to go. It's going to be Giglio finding Newfield Kreider. Empty netter going to put it home. Oswego up 4-1. That's the score they win by. Headed into the regular season on the right foot, scoring 4 goals. Aaron, how were they able to get the offense rolling after being held scoreless in their first outing?
Well, not only was this team able to score, they shared the wealth. 4 goals, 11 different Lakers were able to score points in this one, which is fantastic. You know, this is a team that we talked about last week, you know, their struggles to score, and they came out firing this week and was able to move the puck around, able to, you know, share the wealth a little bit, and obviously the defense is going to be good this year. You know, it started with Rachel Farmer, one of the better goalies in the new HL, and then this team is anchored by Kate Randazzo. She's the captain of this team. Great defense and 4 goals is going to win you hockey games.
Absolutely. Get a little momentum. They started off the game slow, but then they really picked it up. That really impressed me with how they bounced back, took the lead, and took control of this game. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's playoff time in Oswego. Aaron and I will take a look at what's in store next week for the Lakers. All this and more when we come back. You're watching Laker Connections on WTOP 10. Welcome back to Laker Connections. It's now time to take a look at the week ahead. Aaron and I will take a look at the key matchups in Oswego State sports in the upcoming week. And not only is it spooky season here in Oswego, it's also SUNYAC playoff season. Aaron, let's start with some men's soccer.
Well, this Saturday, the Oswego State men's soccer team will take on the Cortland Red Dragons in the first round of the SUNYAC playoffs. Earlier this year, these two teams faced off in an overtime thriller at Laker Turf, resulting in a 1-1 tie. Cortland finished the season with the same conference record as Oswego at 4-4-1. So, Brian, how can the Lakers break through against Cortland and win this game?
Well, honestly, for me, it's getting back to basics. This is a team, like we said before the break, they've been held scoreless in 3 straight games. You got to get this offense going, and that really starts, believe it or not, in the defensive zone if you're Oswego, and in the midfield, controlling the play. You know, this is a team that's built on good defense, and that's honestly how they were able to hang with a great Cortland team in the regular season when they faced off at home. As you can see here, they only allowed 7 shots on goal, but there were 20 shots for Cortland total, so their defense did a great job of keeping that box clear. That's what you got to do again, and then that's when you start counterattacking. That's when you get those. That's when you get the 2v1, the 3v2s. That's when you get men in the box and you put the ball into the box and you try and take advantage. That's how this Oswego's team is going to have to score if they're going to hope to win this game.
This is it, man. They're excited. SUNYAC playoffs, the rematch against the ranked Cortland team. Earlier in the year when they faced them, this is a ranked Cortland team. But overall, these two teams are actually very similar. You know, you look at goals per game. Oswego actually leads that at 1.59 to 1.56, and goals against average. We know the Lakers, they're letting in less than a goal per game. And Cortland close to it, 1.20. They got to finish in the box. You know, we talked about it earlier in the show. You know, you have to score to win, and if you're not finishing in the box, you know, you're not going to be able to do that. One thing I want to point out, in that last game, it said they took 0 corners compared to Cortland 7. That's not going to go over well again this week. If you're taking 0 corners, then you're not going to be able to, you know, have opportunities close to the goal to be able to score. So just finish in the box, play your game, play great defense, and hopefully you'll get a SUNYAC win and move on to the semifinals.
Yeah, look, it's time to prove it. You've shown that you can hang with the big boys. Now it's time to beat them. Moving now to volleyball, as the Oswego State volleyball team is playoff bound, and despite still having 2 more regular season non-conference matchups, the team is still looking forward to their first round matchup against the Cortland Red Dragons, a team who they lost to earlier this season, 3-0. So, Aaron, how did the Lakers get this playoff win against the Red Dragons?
Well, I think the most important thing is to win that first set and control the pace of the game. When they've done that this year, they've won a lot, and they've dominated in those wins. So they got to focus on playing, you know, their brand of volleyball. These girls have been playing together for 3 to 4 years now. They know each other. They've been playing together all season. It's time to get back to that. You know, brush these last 3 losses off and, you know, play Cortland. In the first matchup against Cortland this season, they got swept 3-0. That can't happen again. In that first set, in the first game against Cortland, they lost close. It was like 28-26, the final in that first set, and then the last 2, they just rolled over and died. There really wasn't much resilience there for the Lakers. So just play a full, you know, game of volleyball, play your game. You know, you had a great season. You kind of finished iffy. Get that confidence back. They'll be able to do that this weekend in the Alfred Tri-Match tournament. So build up that confidence and go into this SUNYAC game hyped up and ready to go.
Yeah, I agree. Use that Alfred Tri-Match tournament to really build your confidence back up. But at the end of the day, you just got to get off to a hot start. We talked about not being able to win those clutch sets late. We don't have to worry about that if you're leading. So each and every set, that's the key, not just in the first set. Yes, you obviously want to win the first set, but you got to take advantage. And these are two very evenly matched teams. You can look at this right now, points per set. Oswego's just 0.1 behind them. Very similar kills per set. And, you know, the Lakers only finished a game behind this Cortland Red Dragons team, a very good team. So if you're Oswego, you got to get out ahead. That's how you win. You don't want to play from behind. Put the Red Dragons on their back foot, enforce yourself, and just go out and win this game.
Yeah. Now moving from a team that's in the playoffs to a team that's opening up the regular season. The Oswego State women's hockey will open up their regular season play against the Castleton Spartans Friday and Saturday in Vermont. After going 1-1 in the preseason, the Lakers look to get off on the right foot and strive for a new HL playoff spot. So Brian, how can the Lakers get off on the right foot and start this year 1-2-0?
Well, you know, we talked about it before the break. Keep it rolling. You know, they got a little bit of momentum before in the exhibition. Excuse me. Keep it rolling. Come out firing. That's really the biggest thing. You just get it started early. Take that early lead. That's exactly what you want. And also another big thing, moving the puck around. You know, we may not have seen it a lot in the highlight, but they pass the puck very well. That's how you move that defense around. That's how you move the goalie in between the pipes. And at the end of the day, you maybe get some traffic in front of the net and take that goalie's eye off the puck and keep the crease clear. Excuse me. That was the one issue we saw with the Lakers when they gave up that goal. Is they let William Smith get in front of the crease. They got to keep the crease clear. You got to help Rachel Farmer out.
Yeah, I think you just got to move the puck around again. You know, share the wealth. Scoring 4 goals is going to win you games, and playing great defense is going to do that too. I expect a big game out of Rachel Farmer. Like I said earlier, one of the better goals in the new HL. And then this team is anchored by Captain Kate Randazzo. I expect her to play a great game, and we're going to get a full 60 minutes from Farmer. That's going to be big for the Lakers.
Absolutely exciting time in Oswego. We're going to take a break. When we come back, regular season hockey returns. We'll break down what to look for in the Lakers season opener. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Laker Connections. It's hockey season in Oswego, and Lakers fans couldn't be more excited. Aaron, why don't we start with how the Lakers closed out exhibition play last weekend?
Yeah, let's take a trip down to the wheelhouse to see how the Lakers performed in their final preseason game of the year. And there you see the Oswego State Lakers getting ready for their final game of the preseason versus Nazareth. We're going to start off with a little Jody Sullivan. Right in front of that, he scores in the first minute of the game to put the Lakers up 1-0. Now it's Jody Sullivan again, driving straight down the ice, one-on-one, one-on-none, to Molinaro for the shot. And it's 2-0 Lakers in the first. They are looking hot. Now, here comes Travis Broman, the young sophomore, shoots, fires, scores! It's 3-0 Lakers, and they look like they're on their way to a dominant win. But here, it starts to fall apart. Nazareth, wraparound goal. It's 3-1 with 2 seconds left in the second period. Nazareth, but Curry, 4-1. The Lakers up early. Nazareth would score 1, but then tic-tac-toe, another one. 4-3, and Oswego looks like they're going to blow this one, and Nazareth is going to have one last chance. 11 seconds left, flyered, but blocked by Carter Allen, and the Lakers, they go on to win this one 4-3 against Nazareth. They go 2-0 in the preseason, and they will move on to face Cortland in their first regular season matchup of the year. So, Brian, what did we see from this preseason matchup?
Well, look, good job by this team, obviously winning the game. And, you know, getting off to that hot start in the game, that's exactly what you want to do. This is a Lakers team that always plays better when they're ahead. But at the end of the day, you got to fix some things, and that's starting with that power play. So far in exhibition play, they're 1 for 13 on the power play, which is good for a .077 power play percentage. They're just not getting it done right now. And this has been the bread and butter for this team for the last season. It was one of their best things that they could do is score on the power play, and they're just not getting it done. You need to get that power play going if you're going to beat teams like Geneseo or Plattsburgh, who boasts one of the best penalty kills in the conference and in the nation last year. They have to do better on the power play.
Yeah, and that video we just showed, you know, that's video of them not being able to capitalize on a 5-on-3, and you have to score when you're 2 men up, let alone one up. So the power play, wasn't great in this game. Obviously, that's something that Coach Gosick definitely took a hard look at in practice this week. You have to score when you're a man up, and, that's just a fact. But overall, they played a pretty good 2 periods of hockey, I think, for the most part. And then in the third period, they kind of came out unmotivated maybe a little bit. They did have a 3-1 lead, and then Curry put them up 3-1. You look at both of these preseason games, they were 1 for 6 on the power play in Carleton Place and 0 for 7 against Nazareth. Power play time, you see there, they had a good amount of time to score on the power play. Took 9 and 13 shots. They just, weren't able to finish overall.
Yeah, got to find a way to get that power play going. Now, looking ahead to tomorrow night in the Wheelhouse, and what seems to be a trend in Oswego State athletics this week, the men's hockey team will also be facing off against the Red Dragons of Cortland, kicking off the 2019-2020 regular season. The Lakers come into the season with high expectations and hopes of a SUNYAC championship run. Tomorrow, they'll look to get off to a good start against a team who they beat twice last season. So, Aaron, what do the Lakers have to do to get off on the right foot this year?
All right, boys. It's time. You played you played the preseason. You played an incredible game against Carleton Place. You were able to get a win against Nazareth, and this is a game where you can start off the season not only going 1-0, going 1-0 in the conference and getting 3 points in the SUNYAC. This is a winnable game. You're excited. The fans are excited. You're at home. Go out and win this game. You've dominated Cortland in the past. You look to dominate them again. They have high hopes this year. The power play is something that they have to work on. And you look at their history against Cortland here, 79-10-2 overall. They've won 40 games at home. They won the last matchup last year, 7-0, and they're currently on a 7-game winning streak against Cortland. So obviously, you feel confident going in. The power play is something that has to be worked on, and I think will be focused on in this game. And just keep killing penalties. They've been able to do that in the last, 2 preseason games.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, you got to come out focused. That's a big thing because if you're Oswego, you got an early whiteout looming next Friday, their very next game against Plattsburgh. Come out focused. This is not a game that you want to drop in the beginning of the year. So come out, get that early lead, play ahead with the lead. That's how the Lakers have got to get this done. You got to come out focused, and you got to come out firing. Score early, score often. That's what you want to do if you're the Lakers in this matchup against Cortland.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting time in the Wheelhouse. I'm excited. You're excited. Head coach Coach Gosick is excited. But that's all the time we have for right now. But don't go anywhere because after the break, our referee Michaela will make her WTOP 10 debut, and she'll join us for a spooky edition of Lakers Showdown. Michaela, can you give us a preview?
Coming up, our Cowboy and Where's Waldo take on the hard-hitting questions of who has the better costume. All this and more coming up. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Laker Connections. I'm your referee for the night, Michaela Green. As a reminder for our viewers, I'll ask the guys 3 questions about Laker sports and, of course, Halloween. They'll have a minute 30 seconds to debate, and whoever has the better argument wins the point. Guys, are you ready?
Yeah.
Ready to,
yeah, I'm ready.
Ready to stay undefeated.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes tonight. Excited.
Okay. Through the 2 exhibitions, the Oswego State men's hockey team already committed 11 penalties, including 2 game misconducts. While the Lakers have only allowed 1 goal while on the penalty kill, the sheer number of penalties committed is alarming. Will this lack of discipline shown in the preseason be the Lakers' downfall this season?
No. I don't think it will for a couple of reasons.
Really?
I'm 100% confident that they went over it this week in practice, and Gosick, rode these guys hard, and, he's fully prepared for that to not happen again. And, they only allowed 1 goal on the penalty kill in these first, 2 preseason games. You look at the penalties here. I mean, that's a good amount. But against Carleton Place,
that's a lot.
Against Carleton Place, they only have 5.
And also, look at who they're playing.
It's mainly just the
Look at who
Nazareth
they're
game
playing
that I think
with.
is the problem
This is
here.
absolutely going to be a problem for this Lakers squad. They have not shown any discipline through the first 2 exhibitions. These are exhibitions. This is when you tune things up. How are you
It's also
committing
when
this
you're
many
supposed
penalties?
to make mistakes.
Well, yes, I'll admit that, but look at who you're playing. 11 penalties and only giving up 1. Look at who you're playing. They beat Carleton Place Canadians 9-1. Come on, you can't really.
The only game the penalties were really a problem was Nazareth,
and it was a huge problem. They haven't
they only
shown
let in
discipline
1
this year.
goal.
Yeah, but when you go up against good teams like Geneseo, like Plattsburgh, like Hobart, who you're going to see just the 3rd weekend of the season.
You don't think that this isn't going to be cleaned up by the time we get into the preseason?
I don't know. They haven't shown any
and
discipline this
even
one right
tomorrow,
now,
and
not
even
only
tomorrow,
that,
they're playing
you're
Cortland,
taking
a team
you're
they've
taking
dominated.
away. Okay, yeah, maybe Cortland, but once you get into Plattsburgh, Geneseo, Hobart, you're looking at really good teams that can score, and also not only are you giving the other team opportunities, you're taking away opportunities from yourself.
Yeah,
and
but you
you're
gotta
taking
think this will
away,
be cleaned
you're
up,
taking
and the
good
Nazareth game
players
was really the only
off.
game where they let up a
Look,
lot
they
of
haven't
penalties.
shown me
I'm just
anything to
saying,
show that
I
they're
think
going to
it'll be
clean it up
cleaned
so
by the
far.
end of the season.
So I'm going to have to agree with Brian here, so you get the point.
There you go.
Moving now to the soccer field, as Oswego State men's soccer team will begin their run at the SUNYAC title this weekend in Cortland. This season, the Lakers have been led by phenomenal goaltending coming out of junior goalkeeper Brian Terra. So, is Terra the key to a Lakers playoff run?
I'm gonna go with no, but this isn't a knock on Terra. This is just saying how good this defense is. I think that's the key to a playoff run. Terra's been great this season. I'm not taking that away from him, but this defense has really held teams at bay. You look at the Cortland game; it's in it itself. Yeah, they gave up 20 shots, but only 7 of them were on goal, so they're not giving good opportunities. Terra doesn't have to make that many saves. You look in his 7 shutouts; he's only faced more than 5 shots. 2 times out of those 7. So look, yeah, he's had a good year, but at the end of the day, I just think it's the defense that keeps the ball away from Terra, and that's what's going to be the difference right now.
Of course, it's going to be Brian Terra being the key to game. He's been one of the best goalies in the SUNYAC, and if not the best goalie in the SUNYAC. He's got 72 saves on the year, which is second in the conference. He's got a save percentage of .818, which is good for third. He's had an unbelievable season, and he is the anchor to this Lakers defense, the one that they've put up all year long.
The anchor to the Lakers defense is a defender.
The Lakers are 6-0 when they don't let in a goal, and that is because of Brian Terra. He has just been on an absolute tear this year. It's in his name. Brian Terra. He's been terrifying to opposing offenses this year.
When he doesn't have to face shots, then there's no need to worry. If he faces 20 shots in a game, then that's going to be a problem. You can't ask the man to be perfect. So the defense has to keep
you can't ask him to be perfect, but you can ask him to do what he's done all year, which is dominate.
He's helped, but he's been helped by a great defense all year. How are you going to expect him?
He's the key to this game against
You
Portland, and
got
I
to
think
keep
he's
the
going to be able
ball
to
away
win.
from him, and that's the defense's
Brian
job. The key
Brian
is
Terra's been
the
on a tear.
defense
He's the key
wins
to this
championships.
defense. Yeah, and
Defense
Brian
wins
Terra's a part of that.
championships.
For that pun alone, I'm going to have to give the point to Aaron. Being that it is Halloween, it just wouldn't be right to ignore the age-old question, what costume is the best? So, guys, out of the 2 costumes we have here today, Where's Waldo and a cowboy, as well as a zombie, a cat, and a good old sports jersey, how would you rank these costumes?
All right, I think we're going to get our rankings up on the screen here in just a second. I'm excited about that. Obviously, I'm going Waldo #1. I mean, look what I decided to choose for today. Very excited about it.
No way.
#2, I got a zombie, a classic spooky costume. Everybody's got to love a zombie. You know, you see all the creative makeup and the chains around their necks and stuff like that. Sports jersey, we're all college kids here. A cheap option, an option that everybody can go through.
Do you know how expensive sports jerseys are?
But it's something that you already have. And then, of course, the cowboy. I mean, come on, Brian. Really? A cowboy, dude? That's a shirt you could wear on a regular basic. That's just not creative enough. And then a
but the
cat.
hat.
I can't
Wait, hold on. You're
stand
calling
the
me
cats.
non-creative? You're
I
calling
can't-
me non-creative?
Can I finish my argument? I can't stand the cat.
I mean, you're taking up the entire debate time.
It's just whiskers and
All right,
you know, an
let's
ear
get on with
headband.
it.
This is
All
I
right.
think it's
So
Where's
first
Waldo
off,
#1.
we're gonna go cowboy #1. Obviously, there's so much more you can do with this. You can get creative with it. You can go different color shirt, different color bandana. You can put a vest on, different types of pants. With yours, Where's Waldo's at the bottom? You bought it in a store pack. That was not creative at all. You had to go to one store. Zombie #2. It's a classic cat. It's a classic.
At Walmart.
No, I
Don't
didn't.
lie.
3 different
Don't
stores.
lie to
3
everyone.
different
We
stores.
shop for
You
these
can get
costumes
creative.
together.
It can be
Where's
different.
Waldo?
And the
Look at
hat.
this. Look at how
You know,
colorful
that was
this
a
is.
close call, but I think the point has to go to Bandit.
Wow. Well,
all for
Bandit's
it.
my guest. Bandit is mine, so I'm
So
going
I
to take
guess-
that as a win.
I guess we're tied. Oh God, I don't even get a
What
win.
is this? That's all the time we have for today. For our Where's Waldo, Aaron Valentino, our referee, Michaela Green, my horse, Bandit, and our entire crew here at W2OP10. I'm Cowboy Brian Rudman. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great night, and happy Halloween, everybody.
It's not a loss.